You are now listening to I Filter Truth podcast by Grace. Let's get into a topic that we all knows and sees daily: the shadow friend, co-worker, peers, partner, and spouses. There is a type of loneliness people rarely talk about honestly. We have friends or family or co-workers, spouses and partners, peers that may feel this way at times. I notice it a lot when I'm traveling and going places that you see different types of scenes, different types of interaction. Not romantically loneliness, social loneliness. The loneliness of always standing beside someone who gets noticed before you do. The shadow friend, the peer, co-worker and partners and spouses. The friend who walks into the room beside someone magnet attracted and quietly disappear in competition. This happened to both women and men all the time. One person naturally pulls attention, beauty, charisma, confidence, money, popularity, and social energy. And the other person slowly becomes the listener, the side character, the backup friend, co worker, partner, spouse, peer, the emotional support system, the nice one, they will say. Not ugly, not worthless, just overlooked at times, especially when they're around someone that is very popular and has a lot of followers, or they could be looking like a certain way in a crowd, or they're invited to, different parties, and it's just a popularity type thing. And people underestimate how psychologically damaging that can become over time for them. That brings emotional distress, uncertainty, anxiety, unstable triggers. And you see it a lot on social media, when if someone's post is not being liked or viewed or get the most followers, this is when all of this emotional instability comes in play, because repeated comparisons changes people internally, especially when relationships constantly bypass them, conversations shift away from them, social media reinforces their hierarchy, or people only interact with them to access the more attracted friend, co-worker, partner, peer, or spouse. Sometimes the shadow friends start internalizing, just like your spouse would, your partner, your peer, or your coworkers around you. Maybe they maybe they feel less valuable than you. There were resentments quietly begins growing. Not always hatred, sometimes grief and despair. Grief from feeling emotional unseen, and society makes it worse because attention is treated like a proof of worth, validation. The more desire the person often reviews, more patient, more forgiveness, more opportunities, more complaints, more invitation, and more romantic attentions, and more followers and more viewers. Meanwhile, the shadow friend, co-worker, partner, spouses, and peers becomes hyper aware of every comparison, every joke, every ignored message, every moment someone says something. Your friend or co-worker or peer or partner or spouse is beautiful. And eventually some people emotionally adapt in unhealthy ways. Some becomes people pleasers, emotional detached, secretly jealous, attention seeking, validation addicted, bitter, obsessing without proving themselves, cosmetic surgeries, constantly looking at self in the mirror, comparing herself to others. Others withdraw completely. And what makes this topic uncomfortable is that sometimes the attraction, friend, coworker, partner, spouse, peer, genuinely has no idea this emotional damage is happening within their friends, co-worker, peers, partners, spouses, because they are living inside a completely different social reality. One person experiences abundance, the other experience emotional sarcastic. Men experience this too. So not just only women experience it, but men also go to it secretly and quietly. People assume this only happens between women. It doesn't. Men compare status, money, height, charisma, dating, success, confidence, social dominance, career, and one man becomes the chosen one, the other becomes invisible beside him. And repeated invisibility changes self-esteem quietly over years. Some men eventually chase money, gym obsession, validation, women, status symbol, or social dominance. Just escape the feeling of being overlooked. Social media made it worse to this day. Now comparison follows people home. People compare followers, like, relationship, beauty, vacation, lifestyle, bodies, engagement, and attention. Every stroll becomes psychological measurement, and some friendship, relationship slowly becomes emotional competition. Nobody admits out loud. The dangerous part of it all is most shadow friend, co-workers, peer, partner, spouses never become violent, but unresolved emotional visibility can mute into resentment, obsession, social sabotage, passive aggression, depression, humiliation, or even emotional breakdown. Because humans are not built to feel invisible forever, especially in a world where visibility equals value, or what you have in life, or your status on social media. The closing reflection of this topic is the shadow friend, coworker, peer, and partner, spouse does not always want someone else's life. Sometimes they simply want proof that they matters too, and get some type of attention or acknowledgement from that. And maybe the saddest part of modern attention culture is people learn how to notice beauty instead. Money. They notice money also. They notice how your lifestyle and how you live. They notice how your career. They notice how what type of vehicles you drive. But forget how to notice quiet emotion pain standing right beside them. They tend to ignore their feelings, or how they opinionate themselves, or how they want to express themselves emotionally. And a lot of people don't want to touch on those type of subjects because they want to just dismiss it all the time, or they make excuses of that the person could be just in their feelings, or the person could be just jealous or envy, or they're going through emotional crisis or something like that, when it's really not that. That's really not the case. And that's where a lot of the depression and suicidal and mentally breakdown all comes into play, when it comes into with the competition and compare yourself to other people. And sometimes it opens up, you know, unhealed wounds in a lot of people that have experienced in childhood. So that's something that we have to be mindful of, this day and time, that, when you are popular, also bring in your spouse, your peers, your co-workers, if you are close to co-workers, into your circle. Make them feel validated also, and not just someone in the shadow or behind you. This is your host, Grace, our Filter Podcast.